You're listening to Alcoholics Alive, where recovered members of Alcoholics Anonymous share their experience on how they live AA as a way of life. None of our participants get paid or speak for AA. Here are your hosts, Shank and Wayne. Shank, I heard something at a meeting this morning. Well, we heard a lot, but a guy was reading the 12 traditions at the beginning of the meeting. And in tradition 8, the term, I don't know why this just popped in my head, but it literally did, non-professional.
Yep.
Well, he read it this way.
He said,
Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever unprofessional, but our service workers may employ special workers. I thought that was funny, but then I started thinking about it.
Well, David may be onto something there.
He might be onto something. Unprofessional. I've never heard that before.
I thought you were going to say it was that a AA member said that he's sensitive.
Well, we've heard that too. And he is sensitive. And you know what? I think he's a closet listener, so he's probably listening.
Yep.
Yeah, we got a lot of closet listeners out there that
I hope he is listening.
Listen to the pod, but they don't tell anybody.
Oh, Ron dog.
So. We love you.
We sure do.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to our season wrap-up. Before we get into it, next season, I guess that'll be season 12.
Yep.
We know we've gotten a little heavy with some of you on the concepts, so we're going to try to lighten it up a little bit. So help me with this, Shank. So we're going to take slogans or sayings or what we would call shrapnel.
Correct.
And we're going to actually pick a shrapnel or a slogan, and we're going to discuss its merits, whether it's helpful, not helpful. Maybe have a little conversation and debate about that. And then we're going to tie in a big book reading, a statement from the traditions and or concepts that kind of rebut the shrapnel. Is that right?
They may rebut it. They may enforce it.
Oh, they might support it. Yeah.
So that's the aim. Hopefully there are hopefully we can find it in the 12 traditions long form and concepts long form.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, so it should be fun, and we're hoping that the readings from the book and the traditions and concepts will also help folks that are serious about recovery. So it's not going to be all fun and games. There's going to be some seriousness to it. But anyway, I think you'll enjoy it, and we're going to continue living sober shrapnel until we finish the book, because I don't think we're going to finish it today.
We are not.
We got to hurry up and get through it before they rewrite it.
I know.
Yep. What's our Upon Awakening reading today?
Our Upon Awakening reading comes from the book Alcoholics Anonymous, the 4th edition, 2001, page 62. And it says, "We had to have God's help."
Bam.
That is a complete sentence.
That's the statement. That's the sentence. I mean, what else do you need to know?
Nothing, in my opinion.
For me, it's 100% accurate. I mean, when I got here, I had to have God's help to quit drinking. I had to have God's help to stay stopped. And I had to have help overcoming character defects and shortcomings.
Selfishness and self-centeredness.
Yes. Had to have God's help. Had to have God's help to have power to help other people.
That's right.
This is a slogan that should be on the wall, right?
It
Instead of
should.
instead of think, 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 maybe replace it with we had to have God's help.
We'll have one mocked up for our home group.
I think it's perfect.
Hmm. We'll send it to our friend of the pod. See if she can mock one up in the style of the others for us.
There you go. All right, we had to have God's help. There's actually a lot of freedom in that. I don't have to run the show anymore.
When I start my drunk junk Etsy store, I'll let y'all know. The sign will be available on there.
Oh my goodness.
I'd love to, like anything that just brings it back to God for me, for others. It's just amazing. My sponsor will just laid one on me a few weeks ago, and she was like, "Oh, well, where is God in that?"
It's a
And
good question.
hey, people have said that a million times, but it just stopped me in my tracks. Like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah. Your sponsor jacked me up Thursday night. Told me that I needed to pray about something.
Well,
And then she gave an explanation on why, and I listened to her. I respect her, and I was like, she looked at me like, I said, I hear you. I'm going to try it. So if you're listening, I tried it, but I still left early. Um, yeah. So anyway, thanks for the suggestion, spons.
hmm
What is now? You know what? On that, we had to have God's help.
hmm
I think we're fortunate in that we're in a group that is not afraid to use the term God or actually talk about God. But there are lots of places where they won't even mention the word anymore.
Yeah.
And there's people that are afraid to like use the term in AA meetings, even though that's what they believe and they want to use it. And I just think that's sad.
Well, and I can understand why, because I've also known people that giving their talk about their personal experience and they mention what their religious leanings are, people will go up to them after the meeting and just say, "Hey, you should mention that this is AA."
Hmm.
Which is so interesting to me. Like you want people to share their experience, how they came to a relationship with God in their own terms. And the book continuously tells us, hey, do not let spiritual terms deter you. It's God as you understand him.
Right.
Like this is your own personal relationship. We use this word because we all know what it means.
Yeah.
It's just very interesting.
It is very interesting. So we believe that we have to have God's help. So there you have it. What are we doing today, Shane?
All right, today we're gonna bring the concepts home.
Oh,
We're gonna tuck them in. We're gonna
all
get tucked
right.
in.
Yes.
And we're gonna wrap up the season here with what the season kind of is all about.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have you give us kind of a little overview of the concepts. You can group them together if you want, but
Okay.
and then we may talk about some current happenings in AA that relate to the concepts.
To the concepts. Okay. Well, I like that. Um, well, if you've been listening, we've tried to really kind of keep the concepts simple, and we've tried to, I think, provide some real life experiments or ideas on how they can apply. And we've not gone like really deep into the weeds with it. I'm probably going to say this again. You don't have to have been a delegate or a trustee to to know the concepts, to study the concepts. or to even apply the concepts. They certainly have a very real application and purpose at what we call the General Service Conference, but you don't have to have gone to a General Service Conference to experience the concepts.
When I think your average AA member knows the steps and knows the traditions. And at least for me, for many years, I was like, oh, well, the concepts are just for service. They're in the service manual. I know that they're in the back of the book, but I don't need to know that. And maybe part of it was the people who would talk about it. I'm like, oh, well, they're on a different level. This was my
Right.
understanding at 5, 6, 7 years sober. They're on a different level of service. It doesn't really apply to me. And that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yep. Yeah, they apply to everyone. I think it helped when we put them in the back of the book, Alcoholics Anonymous. It helped bring some visibility to them. Yeah.
Well, then maybe they should put, what was it, the concepts you were talking about putting in the 12 by 12?
Yes.
Maybe they should put them in there then.
12 by 12 by 12. Oh, it's probably going to happen. Yeah, it's on the way, I'm sure. So on the concepts, I mean, we obviously covered all 12 of them. 1 through 3 kind of talks about who's in charge. And, we find out that the fellowship holds the ultimate authority in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not the trustees and it's not GSO. They're custodians to carry out what the conference decides. So this is where we get the idea of the upside down triangle. You could debate whether it's really an upside down triangle. We're not going to go back into that. But it is important to know that the fellowship is ultimately in charge of Alcoholics Anonymous. Now, we delegate that authority to a structure of trusted servants, so that's like our delegate. So if you're in an area, the delegate is basically your voice to the conference. And those servants are given the right to decide, what we call that the right of decision. That's in concept number 3. So it's a popular term nowadays to say that delegates are informed, not instructed. Right? And you could apply that to a GSR and to a DCM. But it is important for them to be informed and to know what the conscience of their group or their district or their area is. And in most cases, try to communicate that and vote their conscience, even though they may get more information and additional details that give them the right to decide what they think is best. So we basically call that trust in Alcoholics Anonymous. That's why they're called trusted servants, because we put someone in a position and we trust that they're going to carry out the conscience, or they're going to make a decision that's based on what's best for the most alcoholics. And concepts 4 through 6, we would call that kind of balance, voice, and trust. It's everyone doing the work deserves participation and respect. So we talked a lot about the right of participation. So everyone should be able to participate in Alcoholics Anonymous. At the conference, kind of how that relates is with the staff. So they let staff that have knowledge on things and experience to participate in conference. We have also learned that the minority voice is important, and it's also protected. So we've got what's called the right of appeal. So after stuff is voted on, folks that maybe weren't in the majority vote, they're now considered the minority vote, but they get a voice, and they're able to kind of talk about why they didn't think that vote was right, and sometimes that will lead to a different outcome. So someone that voted in the majority will consider what the minority said and want to change their vote and maybe want to reconsider. And it's important for trustees to lead, but they're here to act on behalf of Alcoholics Anonymous. They don't act over AA. So important to have, good leadership, I think we talked quite a bit about that in concepts 7 through 9. So the conference has spiritual power, but it is important to understand that the trustees do have legal authority over Alcoholics Anonymous. So trustees and board ultimately can really do what they want to do, but it's really tempered by the spiritual power of the conference. So while they may have legal authority, they're really kind of directed and obligated to carry out the collective conscience as it's spoken through the conference. It's also why it's important to have good leaders and to have what I would call like humble servants, because, you know, we want to make sure we don't have ego-driven people and that we have principle-based people that are kind of in leadership positions. And sometimes in a leadership position, you have to make tough decisions and you have to be willing to speak up. And that's, I think, more so than ever, that's probably essential for our survival, to have strong leadership. And 10 through 12, I think, is kind of where we get accountability. And what we called in I think our last episodes, there's especially 12 is like a safeguard for a future. So we give people responsibility and we give them authority to make decisions, but with that is a responsibility back to the fellowship and back to the alcoholic that suffers. So, concept 12 talks a lot about the traditions, and that the conference should be guided by the spirit of tradition. The leadership should be guided by the traditions. So it also talks about staff and having the right people, and that, the staff does do a lot of work, and we should respect that. Now, with that, the staff should also make sure they're acting on behalf of Alcoholics Anonymous and what's best for Alcoholics Anonymous, not based on their personal beliefs or desires. And I think we talked a lot about the 6 warranties. So we kind of did a little high-level overview of those. And if you've never read those, we would suggest that you go to the service manual and check them out, because they're very rich in tradition and just general guides on how to act and how to be a good leader, how to be democratic, and how to practice what I would call love and humility. So that's just kind of a high-level overview of the concepts. Again, I think that it's important to know that they're not just for a delegate or a trustee. They're good for GSRs, and they're also good for just any AA member who wants to just know more about how to be a servant leader, how to be a servant in Alcoholics Anonymous and in your personal life. Shank, I don't know if you've got a favorite,
Well, that's
or
a
if
great
you got
question.
any insight or just thoughts on what you learned.
I think mine is probably, let's see, I was just looking. I mean, I really like probably 4. I think mine is 4. My favorite is concept 4, which is the right of participation.
Hmm. It's a good one. It really, to me, that one ties into our third tradition.
Yes, I
Kind
agree.
huh? Kind
Hmm.
of. I mean, and our third tradition says that if you're an alcoholic, you can be a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, or if you suffer from alcoholism. So we try not to exclude anyone. And I think the right of participation is probably similar to that. That if you're an AA member, you should be able to participate in stuff.
Well, and ideally, okay, this is probably why, ideally, what I love about Alcoholics Anonymous is that it's a cross section of our community. Okay. Like when I showed up to AA, no one asked me, how much money do you make? What's your education level? I mean, they did ask, like, well, how'd you get here? But it did not matter the circumstances of why I arrived to AA, or what any of my quote outside life looked like. People were willing to help me no matter what. And I, this idea of high bottom, low bottom, elite AA, high class, low class. I don't think people
Mhm.
really use a lot of those terms, but it does seem like, if you're, and certainly for me at a point in time, I felt like because I was on all these committees and doing all these things in AA, like I was doing AA better or I was more sober. I'm not exactly sure. Um, but I do like that this is, hey, it really doesn't matter um, any of those things either to be able to participate in AA. Like, yes, you do need to go through, you shouldn't just become the delegate without having ever done any kind of other service.
Mhm.
Um, However, I think the idea is that, if you've kind of done a lot of service in AA and continue doing service and you start as a GSR of your home group and then maybe you're DCM and then yeah, it shouldn't matter all these other things. And I know sometimes it does. So
Yeah.
I've always loved
It,
that AA. You just come as you are and it
that's
does
right.
not matter.
Does not matter. Yep. And everybody's given that the right to participate. And there's unlimited opportunity in A. If you want to serve and do certain things, you have the ability to do that,
That's right.
regardless of anything. And it's an important thing. I like 12.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that, because I think there's some very important guiding principles in there about, the conference never having a bunch of wealth, not having any power over, people or the fellowship. And it talks about having sufficient operating funds and a prudent reserve, that we shouldn't do anything that's punitive to other people, that we shouldn't try to govern or have power over. And you could throw away everything else and just follow that, and you'd be in pretty good shape.
Okay, well, I
So,
have a question. And maybe this relates to your favorite concept. This last weekend, there was what did we have? Was it an assembly?
it was a committee meeting,
It was a committee meeting.
area committee meeting.
Okay. Area
Yes.
committee meeting. And
So it was DCM's officers and coordinators.
okay, you are currently a coordinator.
I'm an area coordinator.
Okay. So there was a board statement.
Yep.
Should I read it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we should. It's timely and it's interesting because it really ties into the concepts,
Okay. Here's the board statement.
and
Now,
probably not in a good way.
here's what it says. Board statement. We, the General Service Board, GSB, of Alcoholics Anonymous, reaffirm our commitment to unity and accountability in our service to the fellowship. In fulfilling our fiduciary duty and our spiritual responsibilities as outlined in our AA principles, we must ensure accurate communication. Recently, we have observed harm caused when some individuals who have held past leadership roles have engaged in sharing misleading, defamatory, and harmful information on social media, in letters, during informal discussions, made attempts to bypass the conference process, and in some cases used their influence to pressure or threaten conference members. Conference members have reported that these actions have caused difficulties for them in their service to Alcoholics Anonymous. These actions undermine our conference process and its purpose of expressing the group conscience of our entire fellowship. We call upon all trusted servants, past and present, to refrain from spreading misinformation, false information, or engaging in harmful conduct, as these cause harm to the conference, the fellowship, and the GSO and AAGV staff and employees. These actions threaten AA unity and divert us from our primary purpose. We encourage open and constructive dialogue that reflects the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, including where there are difficult conversations on divisive matters. Our experience has taught us that such dialogue can and must occur in alignment with AA principles and absent of efforts to exert influence or drive by mandate. Together, we can preserve the integrity and unity of AA, upon which depend our lives and the lives of those to come. So, just a quick question. My favorite concept, right of participation, and your favorite concept, responsibility must be matched by authority. What is this talking about, first of all? And second of all, what is determined to be harmful information, defamatory, misleading, misinformation, false information, or engaging in harmful conduct?
These are good questions that you ask. I think the statement is unnecessary. I'm not answering your question. I know with that. I think it's inappropriate. And it's kind of one of those things that, I mean, you learn in like business that if one or two people are doing something wrong, you address those one or two people and not the entire organization. And you try not to make statements or form policies that only really impact a handful of people and send that out to everybody. So anyway, that didn't answer your question.
Well, but it says
So
these actions undermine our conference process in its purpose of expressing the group conscience of our entire fellowship. So who's to
so
say that the minority opinion, this to me is feeling like, hey, either get on board or shut up.
well, that's basically what it says. Yes.
And
That's
anyone that
basically
has a quote counterculture,
yeah,
minority opinion,
yeah,
should just
yeah.
keep sweet and keep
Yeah,
quiet.
yeah. They
And
could
and
even
what are
be
what are they even talking about? Is this about the plain language book? Is this
well,
about the financial fiduciary issues at GSO? Is this about us bankrolling the grapevine? Is this about like
it could be about our podcast.
is it about our podcast?
Yeah, I mean, it could be yeah, I mean, it could be about anyone that is basically trying to reach the truth or to anyone that has a differing opinion about the direction. So I'm assuming that this is probably all of the above. It's
Well,
probably about the divisiveness that happened during the PLBB, the Plain Language Big Book conversation, about the one of the trusted servants that blamed or accused another trusted servant of harassment, and the few people that were standing up for that and that were looking for the truth. It's certainly about people that are speaking out against some of the spending and the reserve funds. So probably all
but
the above.
since when? What concept states that the General Service Board can tell me that I can't have my own opinion and that I can't send them a letter about it and that I can't also show that letter to whoever I want to? And
That
also, General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, if you encourage open and constructive dialogue that reflects the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous, including where there are difficult conversation on divisive matters, are you also going to tell me in what way I'm allowed to do that? So where am I allowed to do that? How am I allowed to do that? What tone do I need to use? Is it because I'm a woman that you don't like if I get a little outrageous or direct or defensive even on my own personal thoughts and opinions?
Hmm. Yeah.
Or like,
Well,
what is this really about? So if you're going to say, we, the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, if you're going to give all of these parameters, then please expand on them. So you don't want me or my group to write a letter stating why I'm not personally giving money or why my group may not be giving money. You don't want to know that.
well, they're calling on all trusted servants, past and present, to refrain. So they're basically telling us right here to shut the hell up.
Okay, but how is this, how how is this, how can you, the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, and any past and present trusted servants, how can you say all of this? Okay? But then also, how did the plain language book come to fruition? And I'm not talking about 2016, it was kind of mentioned or floated out there. I'm not talking about that. What really happened?
Yeah. Good question.
Was it a floor action from someone from Canada? From one person?
For the PLBB,
Yeah, how did the PLBB,
well, it came from a request from Canada.
a
Yeah.
request from Canada,
Yeah,
from
from,
one,
yeah. Yeah, saying that he needed help with inmates in prison.
how did we
Or
get
or it
the
may have been
Asian,
the
how,
natives, yeah.
how did we get the Asian American pamphlet?
One guy in California said that he couldn't identify.
Okay, so is that,
Well, hold on now. We might be spreading misinformation, Shank. They're going to come get us. I'm being
so this is
sarcastic.
just more in my personal opinion, we, the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, my opinion or my feelings about this matter, using open and constructive dialogue is that this just seems like so elitist, quite frankly.
Yes, that's what it is.
And it seems like unless you've held all these greater positions, then please refrain. You have misinformation. You have false information. This is harmful conduct. Instead of we, the General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous, trying to really see the top of the triangle because you are at the bottom, supposedly. We just learned this in this whole season on the concepts. So maybe you should listen to who is at the top
Hmm.
instead of telling the top of the triangle basically to sit down and be sweet and shut up.
Yep.
It's so
We sh It
bizarre.
is bizarre. It's very bizarre. And so we should write our own statement
Well, you can't.
from the field membership or
Misleading,
grassroots.
defamatory, harmful information on social media, in letters, during informal discussions. This is an informal discussion.
Yep. It's so messed up.
So you're
So it's
trying to
contradictory to our spiritual concepts and traditions. This is one of the, so basically what they're saying is they want everybody to shut up,
this is Big
and
Brother.
they want you to only use your delegate. Now, no, that's not what this says. They want your communication to be just through the delegate. And this is part of the flaw of our structure is that if everything has to go be filtered through your delegate, then I mean, what good is that?
During informal discussions?
So you can't have an informal discussion and talk about Alcoholics Anonymous. Crazy.
During informal discussions? Made attempts to bypass the conference process? And in some cases, use their influence to pressure or threaten conference members.
So again, to my earlier point, if that's true, they should have dealt with those folks. Meaning, it they should have just talked to the few people that were so-called pressuring people. You don't make a broad statement over some one or two
Well,
people.
isn't it interesting how at the conference it seemed like, and maybe this is what they're talking about from what I have heard, it seemed like um, sometimes they'll be having a discussion and emotion, it's not going to pass. And then they have to break and they come back in the morning and all of a sudden people's opinion has changed.
It's a fact that's happened several times. It happened with the PLBB.
So you're saying that people can't have discussions with each other or with people that may not share the same opinion as them or who may have different information? And listen, a lot of times things that happen I do not agree with, but I also do not agree with the General Service Board telling me and anyone I may disagree with that we can't have conversations. That is insane.
It's insane. It's completely inappropriate. It's completely contradictory to the concepts.
Anyway, when I saw
You know,
this, I just knew I had to bring it up today. So sorry if I
but Shank,
diverted you.
they're encouraging open and constructive dialogue, only if it reflects principles of Alcoholics Anonymous. Well, so much for no governing or telling people what to do or giving directives. It sounds like there's a pretty good directives in there of not talking and not having conversations.
Well, and they have legal power, which we did also discuss.
They
So like
do.
there are many things that do not have to come to the your average AA member.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just there's several other things that were brought up during that committee meeting. But this was the one that just I don't listen, I've been sober for 12 years. I've been very involved. I've held many service positions, and I don't say that to brag. It's just a fact. I'm interested in service. I'm interested in AA. I do something for AA every day. I would not have it any other way. And I have to do that, okay? I was a bad alcoholic. But um, this this just seems like the it's going to have the exact opposite.
Yeah, that's right. That's it's it's another reason
How
why you don't do statements like this.
how can
Eh,
anything good come from that?
Nothing. It won't. No. And I mean, it kind of it also points at some of the other stuff that we know that there was probably some minority opinions on some stuff and they didn't like it. So this is another kind of avenue to help shut that down, help quiet it.
It's just bizarre. The best that I've seen AA function is when you're given all of the information and allowed to make a determination for yourself and you
Yeah.
have all of the information way before you need it. As soon as it comes out, and AA members are intelligent, sober, sober-minded people, even the person with 30 days, like you give them all the information and usually people can come to an understanding on their own of what they believe or don't believe. And then the group conscience takes place.
Yep. I wonder if this board statement is going to be on the website.
Doubt it.
I wonder who they sent it to. I'm going to write a letter to the board in response to it and see what happens.
This is just it's one of those things where I think that people probably really think that they have the best interest of AA in mind, but this is, in my opinion, what happens when you are in an echo chamber and you're
Yep.
surrounded by yes men and you're surrounded by people who
Yeah.
are also unwilling to hear a minority opinion or something other than
Yep.
what your opinion is.
Yep. But
And
they're very
I know that the
virtuous.
General Service Board does a lot of work. I do not deny that. But
Sounds like they're doing too much work.
anyway,
Oh. Well, they're very virtuous and they're saving us, though, with this statement.
The last thing I'll say is most of what I have learned about whatever, life, work, relationships, being a church member, I have learned through Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's generally not because I was doing the right thing all the time.
Right.
It's because I had difficult conversations, and because when I wanted to argue with my sponsor about the Grapevine being conference approved, and she wanted to explain to me what that actually meant, that every article in there was not conference approved, and da 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 da. She picked up the phone and called someone that had been sober longer than she had been, even. And both of those women said, "You're wrong. And here's why." Like, love you. No, you're
Yeah.
incorrect. And
You're
here's
wrong.
why. And it's been a beautiful experience for people in AA to help me
Yeah.
flex that muscle and learn and grow. They didn't say, you know, you can only have open and constructive dialogue that reflects the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous,
Very
or
weird.
quit talking because this is misinformation,
Yeah.
which it
You got to
kind of
refrain.
was. Anyway,
Well, it just kind of points at the state of the union for Alcoholics Anonymous. It's not good. Hmm. Hey, if you're on the board and you listen, we would recommend that you go back and listen to the previous 12 episodes of the concepts on Alcoholics Live. I know that sounds funny, but I'm being serious. And we encourage open and constructive dialogue at all times from anyone. So send us some if you got any.
you know what is excellent? Some of my best friends in AA have different thoughts and opinions, and even people I don't know that well. A guy who's chairing a meeting that I go to on Sunday mornings was asked to chair, and he looked at me and he said, "Okay, well, I'll get you to choose the reading out of the big book, and I'll choose Susie to get her favorite reading of the 12 by 12."
Right.
And it was hilarious.
You didn't take offense to it, did you?
No, it was funny.
Yeah.
It was funny. And now I'm looking through there to see if I can just find one line that I like. Lay it
Yeah.
on him.
One thing we need to mention before we shut the concepts down. In tradition two, it talks about a loving God. And that kind of ties into your Upon Awakening reading that we had to have God's help. But it's another one of those terms that you never really hear much anymore in AA. And I think that's the essence of the traditions and the concepts, is that it reminds us that we are to serve a loving God, not ourselves. And that we're supposed to serve alcoholics that need help, not ourselves.
That's all right.
So let's shut it down with that. Let's move on to living sober shrapnel.
All right, guys.
Hey, one thing, if you're listening and you want that board statement, because I don't think many people have it yet, we're happy to send it to you. Just email us at freedom@alcoholicsalive.com. Living sober shrapnel.
All right, our segment of lore, myth, and sayings taken from the booklet Living Sober. We have arrived at page 74. And it goes through, this little section goes through all of the, quote, conference approved literature and booklets. And we're going to be talking about pamphlets in this one. So the Living Sober Shrapnel is addressed to special interest groups.
No.
And
Of
that's
course.
what it says. Pamphlets. Many pamphlets and flyers on various aspects of AA, some of them addressed to special interest groups, are also published by AA World Services, Inc.
I don't think anyone needs to. If they've been listening to the pod over the last couple of years, they probably already know what I'm going to say. The AA shouldn't have any special interest groups. Our third tradition says membership ought to include all who suffer from alcoholism. Hence, we may refuse none who wish to recover. I don't have it in front of me. And then it says that membership's not dependent upon conformity or money. We help alcoholics. That means we help the straight alcoholic, the gay alcoholic, the Mexican alcoholic, the deaf alcoholic, the female alcoholic, the veteran alcoholic,
Old, young.
old, young, black, yellow, Asian American. So anyway, we do have a whole rack full of special interest pamphlets.
Not in my home group.
And I always go back to, we should have pamphlets that talk more about the traditions. We should have, if you're going to make a pamphlet, have a pamphlet that explains tradition 3. That's upbeat and positive and tells anyone that they're welcome. Or, there is one pamphlet that says, so you think you're different, or do you think you're different? It covers everything.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it at that. So, Barry should have left this out of the booklet. I'm scrapping it.
It's out of here. Then we move on to page 75. This is chapter 29 now, and the title of this chapter is Going to AA Meetings. So our next shrapnel is Drunkards, Bums, or Fanatic Dried Up Teetotalers.
Okay!
Nice.
It says, like practically everyone else who has gone to an AA meeting, you'll probably be very surprised the first time. The people you see around you look mostly normal, healthy, reasonably happy, and successful. They do not look like old-fashioned cartoons of drunkards, bums, or fanatic dried-up teetotalers.
Barry's not been to our home group.
He surely hasn't.
We've got some drunkards, bums, and dried up teetotalers. I think it's probably somewhat accurate that people form kind of perceptions on what they think AA meeting is going to be like, or what an alcoholic looks like, and what they're going to run into at a meeting. I don't think I had any conception of it. I just was sent to a meeting, and just went. But I was kind of attracted to people that looked normal and were clean and healthy, and they were happy and kind of, full of gratitude. So I get that. But we do need drunkards and bums and fanatics in the group,
That's right.
right?
Yep.
I'm not sure about the dried up teetotaler. But it's,
But there are non-alcoholics in AA, so
good point. Very
maybe
good.
Barry was seeing into the future.
He may have been. They do not look like old-fashioned cartoons.
I love that. I love that.
Oh, man. What do you think about this one, Shane?
I kind of like this one, but I'm going to scrap it.
It's out of here.
It's out of here. All right, and then we are still in the same chapter, going to AA meetings at page 76. And this says, AA is a reflection of the larger society around us.
Yes!
And so what this says is, of course, AA is a reflection of the larger society around us, and problems found in the outside world can also make their way into the rooms of AA. But by keeping the focus on our common welfare and primary purpose, groups can help provide a safe and secure environment for all their members.
Well,
So this is nothing new.
no, it's nothing new. Barry was talking about safety and security back in the 70s, before they wrote the safety card.
That's right.
You know what's funny about that?
What?
He uses one of my least favorite terms, the rooms of AA.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that the original safety card used that same term,
And you made them change it.
and I wrote, and they changed it.
Well, I guess that
That's
was also before they banned you from having any discourse.
That's right. That was before they banned us from refraining, and before they started asking us to refrain from stuff. So it is true that AA is a reflection of the larger society.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're basically, we are kind of a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Call it what you want to. We're definitely a subculture of a larger culture.
Yeah.
And anything that goes on out in society can happen in AA. I actually like the comment that we should focus on our common welfare and we should focus on our primary purpose.
That's right.
I'm not sure that board statement does that. That's what they're going to tell you that's why they did it.
Mm-hmm.
I got us a little off track again there. I think that's part of why we started the pod, was we want to try to focus on our primary purpose and how simple that is. One alcoholic helping another alcoholic doesn't require much, just experience and time and willingness. So I don't know. A lot of stuff goes on in AA.
Well, I think keeping the focus on our common welfare and primary purpose, hey, that means that there are going to be people in AA that have really bad criminal histories or current criminal charges, or it means that the person that's been sober 10, 15 years may still kind of be predatory against newcomers. But you don't kick them out of AA, you don't kick them out of your group. And if a woman comes to me and says, hey, this guy kind of won't leave me alone, I talk to other men in the group.
Yeah, deal with it. Yeah.
No one kicks this person out of AA. No one. We have our primary purpose, which is to help the still sick and suffering alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we differ from the outside world. And I think people get it twisted, what it means to provide a safe and secure environment for our members, because you're a member if you say you are.
There are groups that are banning people.
That does not surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually got a call. I got a call about one a few weeks ago.
Well, the thing is, in AA, it doesn't mean that you're endorsing someone's behavior. It means that you're going by the guidelines of the steps and the traditions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What kind of members are they banning?
Yeah.
Are they banning?
Well, I've got two examples. One is they were going to tell this dude he couldn't be a member because he didn't go to business meetings. And then the other one where they literally banned the dude from coming was because they're claiming he was making advances on women, and then another one was that he was just disruptive during the meeting. And I don't know. I mean, we've both been in groups where stuff like that goes on. It seems to me, though, that if the core group is united and they're following traditions and they're doing what's best for their members, that type of behavior can't really exist in a good group. It's like automatically pushed out. I know that you sometimes have to address people and you have to have conversations with people, but it just can't exist.
That's right.
And I don't know, people just don't understand the spiritual aspect of that. And so you typically don't have to ban people or make statements like this board statement. I mean, right? You deal with issues, and you don't make other people suffer from the sins of someone else. I mean, it's just strange to me. But anyway, I don't hate this statement.
I know, I kind of like it.
Yeah, because it tells us if we focus on the common welfare and the primary purpose, then groups will, I would say, they kind of automatically provide a safe and secure environment.
Well, and this is why, I'm going to get us diverted again, but there are so many groups and meetings that have 5 people, 10 people. I don't know that you can effectively do this.
You can't.
Because generally what I see in those groups or meetings is you have 2 people show up consistently.
Yeah.
2 quote home group members, or maybe not.
Yep.
And so I think about home groups that I've had in my current home group. There are 10 people that I can rely on minimum.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I think that's the difference between a meeting and a group. And that's where you mostly see a lot of those issues. I mean, you're going to have those issues in any group, but whether they continue and linger is a different matter. And in those, those meetings of convenience, the meetings that really aren't groups, in a lot of the clubhouses where people just kind of gather and you have these kind of, hit or miss meetings, this is where you see a lot of this happen. In a really good 3 Legacy group that has a actual membership that's united in helping alcoholics, that's where it doesn't happen. So
You want to keep it or scrap it?
I think we keep it.
Oh, we're
Maybe.
keeping it.
What do you want to
We're
do?
keeping it. We are keeping that one. Now,
Yeah,
in the
let's keep it.
rewrite of the Living Sober, they could say, instead of in the rooms, they could say in Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, well, now I forgot that was in there. That might be a reason to scrap this joke.
We may have to let it pass this one time.
Into the rooms of AA. All right. Keep it.
Keep it.
All right.
All right.
Let it be known that we've kept a Living Sober shrapnel. I don't think it's our first one.
No, it may be our second.
It's a second. I think that's probably right. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate y'all listening to season 11. Hopefully you got something out of the concept discussion. If you're interested in the board statement, let us know. We can email that to you. But we do hope that you'll join us for season 12. It's going to be a good season. In the meantime, we do recommend reading the book Alcoholics Anonymous. Remember that Alcoholics Anonymous is a book, and we recommend taking the steps out of there and having a spiritual awakening and becoming free.
Freedom.
Thanks for listening. If you have a comment, suggestion, or just need help, you can email Shank and Wayne at freedom@alcoholicsalive.com. Remember, we're recovered members of Alcoholics Anonymous, but we do not speak for Alcoholics Anonymous, nor do we get paid. Join us next week for another great episode.